let's be honest, the way that they obtained some of the things that you are thinking and coveting, you wouldn't want any parts of it. You wouldn't want to sell your soul, sell your body, sell your dignity and your integrity to obtain these things. So it's like you're coveting this thing, but you don't know what comes with it. It becomes, why does she always get it? How come everything works out for her? Why is she never down and out? And it's like, please believe, baby, I have my times. I almost died several times. Not only do the health stuff, but just like violent life stuff. Like, let's be for real. I have my times, but the Lord is so gracious and so good that He kept me in the midst of it all. He kept me. He got me through. He pushed it, and He used those things that were meant for evil and turn them around for my good. So please don't think, oh, it always works out for Shay and it never. Baby, please.
Level up loading.
Level
up loading.
up.
Level up loading.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Level Up Loading by Feelings to Expect with yours truly, Shay.
Hey!
I hope everybody is having a great week. I hope you guys enjoyed my last episode. Thank you to all the new supporters and the new subscribers, and I pray that this channel is and will be a blessing to you. So today I want to just pop in and talk about something. I made a status or post or whatever you want to say today about comparison, because I was actually seeing a video, actually it's like a compilation of videos about people just comparing themselves, like, oh, I'm the ugly friend, oh, I'm the friend that never gets attention, oh, I'm the friend that this. Is like people just comparing themselves. And so in my post I said, like, actually I'll just read the post real quick. The post, I said, you are over there comparing yourself to someone that's comparing themselves to you. Please knock it off. You're over there coveting all the attention they get. Meanwhile, they're coveting all the peace that you get. People gotta stop thinking the grass is greener on the other side and love their own line. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. So let's just be real. Be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. So while you're over here thinking that you're the ugly friend, or you're the invisible friend, or whatever thing that you have convinced yourself that you let the enemy plant a seed in your head, and meanwhile your friend who you're over here thinking that about is like, man, nobody ever bothers her. She gets to be in peace. Nobody ever bothers her. Nobody ever tries to latch on to her. That must be so nice. So you're over here wanting this attention that you think is so, like, you feel so good, and that person is like, I'm always being bothered, I'm always being bugged. People always want something from me. People always want to drain me or access me. I wish I could have that peace that she has. So you're thinking you're the ugly friend, and you're actually the friend that gets to enjoy peace. Why are you comparing yourself? You have your own strengths. Just like that person has their own strengths. You have your own weaknesses. Just like that person has their own weaknesses. You could be sitting here like, oh my goodness, this person, we look at celebrities all the time and we're like, they have it all. They have everything. They don't have to worry about where the next meal is coming from. They can get luxury. They can take trips when they want to. Meanwhile, the celebrities are like, man, look at them. They get to do whatever they want. They don't have to have security. They can just go places. They don't have to be on this strict schedule. They don't have to hop on planes every 5 minutes to go from one side of the world to the other. They don't have to be on tour all for months at a time. They don't have to be away from their families. They don't have to, like, if we're honest, comparison will have you really not appreciative, not being grateful, not showing up as a thankful and truly appreciative vessel. Like, the Lord gives you what you need. And there are some people who, let's be honest, the way that they obtained some of the things that you are thinking and coveting, you wouldn't want any parts of it. You wouldn't want to sell your soul, sell your body, sell your dignity and your integrity to obtain these things. So it's like you're coveting this thing, but you don't know what comes with it. And I hate to, be that lady, but like I was watching a show, and there's a young lady on there who has literally been faking it till she makes it, and so obvious that you thought you could handle someone else's shine, you thought you could handle their life. Just because someone makes something look easy does not mean it's easy. A lot of times you don't understand that until you get in that position. So like, say for instance, at work, I have a desk job. I'm an office person. People that are in the field, people who are in the elements, people who are, out and about, they feel like, oh, they're not doing anything. And it's like, if I'm not doing anything, then you don't have the stuff you need to be able to do your job. So I have to be good at my job on the inside so you can do your job on the outside properly. And then on the flip side of that, they don't know what it's like to sit in a building all day and not have any variety, I don't want to say like in a bad way, but just not have any variety. It's every day is kind of the same. Nothing really too spicy happening. They get to be somewhat free. They get to move on their own. They get to drive. They get to be alone. They get to work alone. And they don't know how it is to have to answer tons of emails, tons of calls, and tons of inquiries, and having deadlines as far as like paperwork and contracts to sign, negotiations to go to. They don't know what it's like to be in the meetings. But to them, my job is nothing. I'm just sitting in the office twiddling my thumbs. But if we were to switch places, they would be like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, okay, I gotta answer all these emails, I gotta answer this phone and answer the emails, and people walking up to my desk, and I have to make sure that all these orders get out, and I have to make sure, you know what I mean? And on the flip side, if I were to be out there on the road, I'm enjoying the sun and be able to move, but yeah, I gotta do all this work. I'm bending, I'm in the sun, I'm sweating, it's hot, ain't nobody offering me no water. It's a lot of things that kind of come with wanting someone else's life, and you just can't do it. The Lord says not to covet. And it's for a reason, because it really will have you out here unappreciative. Have you ever had, bosses that don't even know how to do a portion of your job, but they're the ones making the decisions, and they implement these things and they put out these instructions, and you're like, that's not gonna work because firsthand, hey, it's not that simple. So it's like you feel like you know more than that manager, you know more than that CEO, that director. But on the flip side, if you were to take your butt into one of those meetings where they're negotiating millions of dollars, or they're talking about overhead and, charts and pie graphs and, all of these different intricate things that keep the business not only working and afloat, but prosperous and, prosperous and profitable, you would be in that meeting like, okay, what are they talking about? This is going over my head. This is high level stuff that I have not been privy to. So yes, you are the expert of your world, but you are not an expert in everyone's world. And so if I'm here like, oh, I wish I was the manager. They don't have to be in the office all the time. They can move around when they want. They don't have to ask for permission to do anything. Meanwhile, they spend half of their days in meetings, hour-long meetings. They're traveling a lot back and forth to different places. They're going to different conventions and making super important decisions that could make or break the company. It's like, yes, I do play my part in that role, but if I make a mistake, there's a chain of people in between me and that mistake that can help to rectify it. These high-level people, some of these decisions, if they make it could put their job on the line. It could put the company at risk. These decisions that they're making matter, and I don't have the expertise to properly make some of those decisions. Now, that's not to say that we don't have a little bit of insight just based off of being our feet on the ground, but, boots on the ground or not, some of these things, they're in there talking about millions and billions of dollars. And I'm talking about they're talking about it like it's $50, So it's just something to think about. One of my Facebook friends also made a post with me. He said, I pray that people stop comparing what they don't have to what somebody else does. Y'all be wanting relationships and marriages that y'all see from people that don't even like each other. You compare life to someone who probably sold their soul to get what they have. That's not what you prayed or are praying for. Let's not be deceived in these times. Trust God. Simple as that. Like, simply put, we should not be out here being covetous in that manner, because it is going to show up in a way where we think it looks easy, but it's not. let me go to the Bible. I just want to talk about a couple different situations where people were being covetous. In Luke 12, chapters 15 to 21, it says, and he says to them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses. Then he spoke a parable to them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, since I have no room to store my crops? So he said, I will do this. I will put down my barn and build greater, and there I will store all my crops and my goods. And I will say to my soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. Now listen, I know this parable is just being a parable, is being parabolic. It's talking about things, but it can be anything as simple as marriage. It can be something, I don't want to say simple. Marriage is not simple, but people find ways to covet. Social media just makes it so easy, even more so. And it's already in our human nature, unfortunately, to covet other people. Think about Cain and Abel. Cain winded up taking his brother out just off of being jealous, just off of being covetous of the reaction and the attention and the favor of God. Took his own brother out. Joseph, his older brothers became covetous over the relationship that him and his father, over the relationship and over gifts that he had, both from our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, but also from his father Jacob. His father Jacob gave him a beautiful coat of many colors, and his brothers were like, why does he get that? Why does father, he doesn't even really do anything. We do all the work and father favors him. And what did they do? Sell him off into slavery. Not knowing that if you have a favorite person, sometimes that favor drips off on you. If you're around someone who's favored, being attached to a favorite person is a great thing. And they later learned that, later on when they needed Joseph's favor, because the Lord was with him. His hand was on Joseph. And his hand was on them too, but in different ways. And instead of them focusing on the ways in which the Lord was with them and providing for them and helping them, they were comparative and jealous. And it led to them making terrible, unethical, ridiculous decisions. I'm trying to think of some more. Some more. There's plenty of them. Of one of my favorites. Saul and David. One of my favorites. Anytime we're talking about jealousy, covetous, envy, Saul and David. Like, homeboy just woke up one day like, why are they giving him more credit than me? Why are they talking about him in the same senses as me? Like, how dare they? How dare he get any attention? I'm the king. And to the point where he lost his favor. He lost his anointing. He lost his favor because of his deceit of jealousy and covetousness came in and stole that from him. And he, instead of being a good, loyal person to the person who was helping him in the battlefield and having his back, it caused him to literally lash out and try to harm that person. It's very deadly. It's comparative and competitive. And I know that I've spoken about this a lot, but y'all don't understand how very important it is for you to realize you have to love your life. Not loving your life. The Lord tells us not to live our life. I'm not saying that. We have to love what the Lord is doing for us. We have to understand that He knows the plans He has for us, and He knows what we can handle. He knows the time to unleash certain things. I think back on my life and I'm like, I'm 37 years old, I'm not married, and I don't have children. I can't have children, at least not biologically. And I think about how if I were a different type of person, it would be so easy to get on social media and see all these cute little couples and these cute little reels and these cute little families. And then, using the example of one of the Black Love couples that were couple goals and, all this stuff, Remy and Papoose were in the media as supposedly the definition of Black love. Holding each other down, being ride or die for each other, and making it through the tough times together. And then truth starts to come out, and you're like, wait a minute. People calling the police, people being broke, people doing this, people mooching, people stealing. It's like you think that you are comparing yourself to something good, but you don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. Even with myself, this is something that I really have had on my life for a long time, people just are comparative. I don't know why. And sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, sometimes in a secret way, sometimes in a very, very overt way. But it's hard because you want people to come close, and the closer that people get sometimes, the more that they see it, the more that they access and see that favor of God on you. And instead of that being a good thing or a confirmation that you are favored with the Lord and that you do have, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords on your side, instead of that being a great thing, it becomes, oh, why does she always get it? How come everything works out for her? Why is she never down and out? And it's like, please believe, baby, I have my times. I almost died several times, not only due to health stuff, but just like violent life stuff. Like, let's be for real. I have my times, but the Lord is so gracious and so good that he kept me in the midst of it all. He kept me, he got me through, he pushed it, and he used those things that were meant for evil and turned them around for my good. So please don't think, oh, it always works out for Shay and it never. Baby, please. Because you wasn't there when I was laid up in the hospital, sliced open with my uterus on the table the size of a baby. You wasn't there when I was passed out, fainted on the side of the bed, calling the ambulance, trying to hope that they get there in time because I feel like I'm about to pass out with a pulmonary embolism, blood clot in my lungs. You wasn't there when I was sitting in the ICU for days and days and days because they wouldn't even let me walk to go to the bathroom because they thought if I even took more than 4 steps that my heart would give out. You wasn't there for that, so you don't know that part. You just see Shay so resilient, so happy, so joyful. That's the peace of God. That's the Lord that has given me that resilience and that long suffering and that ability to see myself as a victor, a conqueror. But baby, it ain't always peaches and cream, and it won't be. It won't always be. So people comparing themselves to me is just really unfortunate because they wouldn't want the stuff that comes being me. You might think that you do. You might think, oh, it's not that bad, but when you actually experience it, you're gonna be like, whoa, hold on, I don't know what to do with this. So I don't know, guys. There's so much that I could say on this topic. It's a very, very, as you probably could tell, if I really went through and looked at my channel about how many videos I've made about this, it would probably be excessive. But y'all, it really so important for you to love your own life, your own process, your own path, because I know for a fact that the Lord gave me marriage and kids and all that stuff, especially before I really found him, especially before he really pruned me and started to work on healing some of the things that definitely needed to be healed, the accountability that needed to be in place, the grace, the mercy for humanity, for people's humanness, just working on me as a person, as a woman, as a child of God. A marriage and kids and all that stuff would have destroyed me, and I know that the Lord would have seen me through, but I know for a fact I would have been no good to anybody in those states. So I'm thankful that the Lord is so gracious and to wait so that I don't have to fumble what I prayed for. Like, let me, he's very punctual, and he knows when to release things. He knows when you're ready, and it's never to say that I'm going to ever be done healing. Healing is not linear. You're going to continue to grow, change. Some things scabs will fall off and you have to wait for them to heal again. But ultimately, you just have to trust his plan. He has good plans for us, y'all. And he shows that all the time. So while you are looking at your homeboy, he'll get all the girls. Girls always flocking to him. That man probably feels like a piece of meat. Well, why you seeing, or ladies, why you seeing that friend? Oh, she always gets all the men and everybody likes her. And that girl, nobody take her seriously. All they see her as a pretty face. She's beautiful, but they don't want to hear anything she has to say. They don't want to learn about her. They don't want to know that she can play the flute. They don't want to know that she knows how to color. They don't want to know that she knows how to do macrame. They don't want to know anything about her. She's arm candy. She's a trophy. She's a piece to say, I made it for a man. And here you are, you're comparing yourself, wishing you had that, but you get respect. People might not want to flock to you romantically, but when you speak, they listen. When you come in a room, they want to hear what you have to say. They take your mental gems. Shout out to Kareen. They take your thoughts. They actually value what you have to say. When you come into rooms, when you come into meetings, people don't just see you as a dumb blonde or a pretty bimbo. They see you as a person of value with something to say. So she's over here, as beautiful as she is, she's over here like, man, everybody always listens to her. Nobody ever just says, yeah, baby, okay, yeah, shut up here, take this picture, and smile for the camera. And you're over here, she's so pretty. You guys are both coveting something and you don't know the weight of it. So instead of you focusing on what you actually know and can actually change and can actually better, you're worried about somebody else's cross to bear. We all got one. And whether you pick up yours or not is your decision. But nothing is going to get done by watching somebody else carrying theirs. So you have to make that decision. Are you going to carry your own cross, or are you going to worry about Joe Blow over there and what they're doing with theirs? And I'm so sorry, y'all, if y'all are tired of hearing about this topic, but it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. It's a topic that I truly feel passionate about, and I pray that it reaches who it needs to. I pray that you guys understand that your life, you are beautiful, you are purposeful, you are not insignificant, you are a great creation, and you don't need to worry about comparing yourself to someone else's life. They're good or they're bad. How many celebrities and things that have had it all, they have everything that you think anybody could want, and they're miserable or they're demented and they hurt people because they're tormented themselves. The peace that surpasses all understanding is what we really should be going for. We should have gratefulness and cheerfulness within ourselves. And not only that, there are people out here who don't have a home, they don't have a pot to pee in, a window to throw it out of, as the old folks say. And we're over here worried about the most simplest things. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Psalms 104. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. From the very beginning of the Bible, the Lord has discussed that he does not want to covet. Exodus 20:17, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. He is very clear about that. Do not do it. So don't. Galatians 5:19-21. Now the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. And that's a very edited version. Y'all know how that goes. James 3:16. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice. Do you know what vile is? Like, that's like disgusting, disturbing, ill. Proverbs 27:4 says, anger is cruel and fury overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy? Y'all, it's such a thing, and it's in our human nature. You gotta think about it. Got to think about it. Adam and Eve's kids were the first kids on the planet, and jealousy came in and got them. So from the very beginning, our flesh wants to be jealous. Our flesh wants to compare. Our flesh wants to find a way to put apples to apples, pears to pears. And it's like, no. Worry about your pears, I worry about my apples. You tending the sheep in the flock, and you tending the land. Like, you can be pleasing to the Lord with your offering, and I can be pleasing to the Lord with my offering. But instead, you want to say, Abel think he all that, do too much. Instead of you coming and showing up as your best and doing your best and being your best, you would rather sit there and hate on somebody for showing up. And you don't know how much Abel could have been in there like, oh Lord, I don't want to give this good offering. It's going to hurt me. This is going to hurt the flock. But I got to be obedient. I got to do my best. I got to show you that I'm appreciative of what you have provided. I'm appreciative of what you provided. So just because you don't see that doesn't mean it isn't happening. But anyway, I want to talk this to death. So I hope this was at least somewhat edifying for somebody. I know the topic that I do talk about, even on the episodes when I'm not talking about it, I will sprinkle it in there because, baby, it is a real thing. If you have the favor of the Lord in your life, I'm sure you can relate. And if you don't have it on there yet, you will once you get right. No, you know, he chooses who he chooses. He can do whatever he wants with us, but we have to still be obedient to his word. We are not to covet. He's very clear about that. So I just pray that you all take something from this episode, even if it's just confirmation of something that was bothering you. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If not, tell me about it in the comments, because y'all do not want to talk to me. Y'all do not want to talk to me for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, y'all. I don't know who I done made mad, but y'all do not talk to me. Y'all will like it, y'all will watch it, but y'all do not talk to me. I don't like that. But in due time, the Lord knows what he needs, okay? The Lord knows what I need. So I'm just gonna be patient and wait for y'all to get more comfortable with me. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good one. I will see you on the next episode. Bye.